Hey, what's good everyone? You already know what it is. It's your boy the 12th man, giving you guys another gameplay commentary today. And today I have a very serious topic to talk about. In today's video, I want to talk about the Charleston shooting. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because this event is happening in the state that I live in. For all of you guys who don't know, I do live in South Carolina. I don't live in Charleston. I live in Columbia, which is about 2.5 hours away. And yeah, since this is happening in my state, I really do want to talk about this. Normally I stay away from things like this, but I want to talk about this because a lot of stuff, this whole matter is really pissing me off. For all of you guys who don't know what happened in Charleston, basically this 21-year-old white kid walked into a very old black church. It was an AME church. I'm pretty sure this is one of, if not the oldest African-American churches in the South. Charleston as a city itself is very old. It's one of the oldest cities in the country. But anyway, this white kid walked into a black church and he went in the basement, and in the basement there was, I think, 9 people having Bible study, and he sat through the Bible study. And I guess around the time the Bible study was getting ready to end, he pulled out a gun and killed basically everyone inside the basement, except for a little girl who played dead just to, you know, survive. But yeah, 9 people died, including the pastor. He was also a senator. One person who died, the youngest person who died, is from the city I live in. He graduated at a university that's like right down the street from my house, basically. And also another person that died was a mother of a baseball player who played at Charleston Southern. So it was a very huge tragedy. The shooter, who is also from the city I live in, he was caught a few days ago, and he is back in Charleston, and he will face charges very, very soon. Now, this video is kind of going to be a rant, but before I go on that rant, I will say this. I do want to send my condolences to the people who were affected by the shooting. I want to send my condolences to the victims' families, and I also want to send my condolences to the city of Charleston as a whole. It was a very horrible tragedy, and it's kind of scary to think about. I mean, out of all the places that you can get killed in, church is not really one that comes up in your mind, because church is a place of worship. That's where you go to worship God and worship Jesus. And the fact that someone could just walk into that place of worship and just kill people, it's kind of a scary thought. So yeah, it was a horrible tragedy for the city of Charleston. So now that I said all that, I want to go ahead and go on my little rant. And that rant is on society. I really can't stand this fucking society, dude. I mean, think about this, man. When the shooter got caught, when the shooter was finally caught, he was caught in a small town in North Carolina called Shelby. I think that's close to Charlotte. He was caught, and the media, you know, found out that he was caught, and they were putting all this stuff out. And I predicted this shit. I said this: if they found the shooter, I bet you that all of these media sites are probably going to have his whole backstory on their reports. And sure enough, there it was. I looked at media reports, and they were saying that this guy came from a troubled family, this guy had no friends, this guy had a mental illness. Are you serious? What? No, that guy was not mentally ill. Okay, he knew what he was doing. He went in there to kill black people, plain and simple. However, the media doesn't want you to believe that, okay? The media is going to try whatever they can to make sure that whenever you see this kid, you don't think of him as a domestic terrorist. You think of him as a troubled human being. That's what the media is trying to do. However, when it comes to a black person, okay, if a black person gets murdered, the media is going to try to do whatever they can to make people believe that that person deserved to die. I mean, seriously, you guys have to think about this, alright? Just look back and think about all the black people who were murdered in between the years of 2012 and 2015. Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Eric Garner, Mike Brown. Okay. Have you noticed that every single time something like that happens with a black person, every single time that a black kid or a black person is killed, the media will try to do whatever they can to discredit that person who was murdered? For an example, Trayvon. The media did whatever they could. They went to his Facebook, his social media sites, and they took pictures and stuff to make people believe that Trayvon was a thug, and many people believed that, and they started to believe that Trayvon deserved to die and George Zimmerman was a hero. So let me get this straight. Trayvon Martin, a kid that didn't do anything to nobody, a harmless person who was just walking home from a convenience store, gets killed, and he's a thug. He's a threat to society. But this kid, a guy who walks into a black church, kills a bunch of black people because that's what he wanted to do. He killed 9 people that didn't do anything to him for no reason, and yet people are feeling sorry for this guy. They're saying this guy is sick and he needs help. Really? Fuck out of here. So now you know why stuff like this really does piss me off, alright? People like Trayvon, Tamir, Eric Garner, people like that, they're gone for doing absolutely nothing. However, this guy, a guy who walks into a church and kills 9 people, he's still alive. He was apprehended alive. And believe it or not, there are some people who have sympathy for him. There's a Facebook page of people, you know, supporting this guy. Now, they weren't supporting this guy because of his actions. They're supporting this guy because they believe this dude is mentally ill. They believe that this guy had no idea what he was doing. They believe this guy didn't know the consequences of what he was doing. And that's what the media is going to try to do. They're going to try to persuade people to believe that this guy was mentally ill, when in reality, this guy knew what he was doing. He is a domestic terrorist. So before I wrap up this commentary, I just want to say this. The main point that I'm stressing in this video is that the media is ignoring the main problem of this shooting, and that's the racial terrorism, okay? This white guy walked into a black church to kill black people. This is something that someone would have done 50 years ago during the whole civil rights, you know, thing that was going on back then, okay? The media is ignoring that. Instead, they're saying things like, well, we're not certain if this guy did this. Well, you know, this guy might have had a bad day. He might be mentally ill. He probably just had a bad day and took his anger out on those people. No. They are ignoring the main issue, and that is this guy is a domestic terrorist. This is terrorism, and this needs to stop. That's basically it with the end of this commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this whole thing. Not trying to start a race war. I just want to give my opinions out there. You know, this is why I do YouTube, to speak my mind. But yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the flip. Thanks for watching. Peace.